I'll tell you a little story. When I first came to the U.S., because I'm not American, and I came here for graduate school, and I lived in New York. And it was very striking to me, because I saw homeless in Jamaica, where I'm from, but not on the scale that I saw it in New York. That was a whole nother story for me. It was very different. I lived in an apartment on 26th and 3rd, and the homeless would come at the end of the workday, and they would set up camp under the apartment. And so I would talk with them, and I said, well, what happened? What happened? So it fascinated me, because for me personally, it's the ultimate level of deprivation, the inability to provide secure housing for yourself and the folks that you love. So I guess I've always been predisposed personally, long before I ever realized I was predisposed. I remember it bothered me. I remember friends of mine in graduate school saying, Dawn, you'll get over it. And I was like, goodness, people just step over them, step around them. And so that happened, and I guess it stayed in my subconscious. Nothing else happened with it. And then a few years ago, then 15 years ago, I started working here at TCU, and I teach development, and it was clear that the gap between student experiences with some of the issues we were talking about, and the issues of poverty and why people stay poor, and whether it could be fixed and whether we should try to fix it, and all these kinds of things that we're talking about in the academic class, that students just really didn't have the experience base to draw upon. And so I started looking around for ways to fill that experience base. I still wasn't biased on homelessness. That still didn't enter. I mean, I really came to it as an accident. Students, as I said, did that. They volunteered with numbers of area partners, not just UGM. That group of students, it was a fall, maybe 5 years ago, development studies class, and they partnered with all kinds of agencies, but their responses when we talked about it in class were very strong for the Union Gospel Mission. People really they found that they were very warm in receiving them, that they were very open to the students learning, and so on. And so I thought, well, I'd like to launch something more systematic that we can replicate every year. So I met with the UGM folks, because students had the warmest experiences with them. And they were uniquely positioned to go after, to partner with us, because again, they have a strong residential program, they support their population in a number of other areas, and they have a strong reputation in the community. And so it turns out that it was homeless. So I don't know what anybody would interpret that. So I was struck many years ago coming to the US about homelessness. I didn't plan on working with a homelessness group, but it turned out this way. And so it's become something I'd like to continue with.